Good afternoon. In this our online class today, we are going to discuss triangles. Continuation. We'll continue on triangles, and we are going to discuss isosceles triangles. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two sides to be equal, like in this case, side AB is equal to side AC. That's what I wrote here. And the angles facing the equal lengths are called the base angles. B is facing this length. Angle C is also facing another length that is the same as this. So these two equal lengths, the angles facing them are angles B and C. Therefore, angle B and angle C are equal because they are the base angles. Base angles of isosceles triangles are equal. Then the third angle is the vertical angle. So if you want to identify your base angles, just identify the angles facing the equal lengths. They are your base angles. Immediately you identify them, they are equal. Now, example 1. In the diagram, we are to calculate the value of A in this diagram. So the first thing you do, you redraw the diagram. Any angle missing, you replace with another letter different from the one given. This angle here is missing. I replaced it with X. Then, looking at our diagram here, this is an isosceles triangle. The angles facing the equal lengths are 70 degrees and X. Therefore, they are equal because they are the base angles. X is 70 degrees. Base angles of isosceles triangle. You must state your reason. Now, after I've gotten my X is now what we are to look for. We are to look for A. You use some of the angles in a triangle. You add all the three angles, you equate to 180. Angles in a triangle. A plus 70 degrees plus X is 180 degrees. Then you replace your X with 70 degrees as you got it above, so that we'll have 70 plus 70 degrees to be 140, and we'll have A plus 140 degrees equals 180 degrees. When you collect your like terms, because you can't add 8 to 140, you have to take your 140 to the other side. A becomes 180 degrees minus 140, which will give you 40 degrees. Therefore, our A is 40 degrees. Here's another example. We are to find the value of N, angle N. We have this angle here, which is 144. This diagram is an isosceles triangle. You can see the equal length being marked. So this is an isosceles triangle. You redraw your diagram like this. After you've redrawn it, all the angles missing, represent them with different letters. This angle here is missing, represent with Y. This angle here is missing, represent it with X. After you've done that, this is an isosceles triangle. You can identify your base angles. But before identifying our base angles, this Y can be calculated, because 144 degrees and Y are angles on a straight line. These two angles, 144 degrees and Y only, are the angles on the straight line here. So when you add them together, it gives you 180, because angles on a straight line we add up to give 180 degrees. With that, When you take your 144 to the other side, y will be 36 degrees. That's 180 degrees minus 144 degrees. After I've gotten my y is not what you are looking for, is n. Identify the base angles in this isosceles triangle. The base angles are the angles facing the equal lengths. Angles facing the equal lengths. And they are angles x and n, as you can see. Therefore, x is the same thing as n. They are the base angles. We don't know any one of them. You state your reason like this: base angles of isosceles triangle. Then you apply some of the angles in a triangle, add the three angles together, equate to 180 degrees. You say angles in a triangle, because some of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Your y, you just calculated, you got it to be 36, replace. Remember, they want n, and your x is n. Replace x with n. Leave this n equals 180 degrees. Then after that, n plus n will give 2n. You can add 2n to 36. Take 36 to the other side, collection of like terms, so that you have 180 degrees minus 36. 2n will be 144. Divide both sides by 2, and n gives 72 degrees. That's what our n will be. Example 3. Here we have two triangles that are isosceles. In the diagram, we are to calculate values of n and m. As usual, name all the angles not given, this, and this. I named them x, z, y. Now, if you check the diagram, the triangle where you have angle 35, see what I'm tracing? The triangle where you have angle 35 is isosceles. Identify the base angles. The base angles are y and 36 degrees. The angles facing the equal length there. Can you see that? Now, they are equal, because base angles of isosceles triangles are equal. Therefore, y is 35 degrees. Add the three angles y, z, and 35 and equate to 180 angles in a triangle. And already your y is 35 degrees. Replace y with 35. Your z is 35, 180. 35 plus 35 is 70. Therefore, z becomes 180 degrees minus 70 degrees, which will be 110 degrees. Remember, you want n and m. You've not gotten any one of them. So the next thing we'll do now is to get our x. X and z are angles on a straight line. Therefore, they add up to give 180 degrees. You put your reason, angles on a straight line. Already your z is 110. Replace z with 110 degrees. And x becomes 180 degrees minus 110 after collecting your like terms. X is 70 degrees. After we've gotten our x now, consider the isosceles triangle to your left. Identify the base angles. The angles facing this equal length are m and n, so they are equal. Remember, you've calculated your x as 70 degrees. Therefore, m is x, which is 70 degrees. Base angles of isosceles triangle. Then add the 3. With that, we've gotten our m now. We are left with n. Add the 3 angles m and x together to give 180 angles in a triangle. Replace your m with 70, your x with 70. 70 plus 70 is 140. Collect your like terms. and n becomes 180 degrees minus 140 degrees. Therefore, n is 40 degrees. And with this, we have gotten values for n and m. The basic thing you need to know about isosceles triangle is to know the base angles because they are equal. Identify your base angles, which are the angles facing your equal length. Make them to be the same. Then from there, you can be applying angles in a triangle. When you have three angles in a triangle, you want to get one of them. Or when you have angles on a straight line, you apply it, and so on. So please take note of this video and watch carefully. Thank you.